Hello everyone and welcome to my morning report analysis videos with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Hantec Markets. There is a relatively quiet look to markets, a little bit of slight dollar weakness that we've seen basically in the last few days actually starting to take hold, and you can see that through the dollar index, which has started to roll over, and we've talked about that whereby the yields have shown similar sort of rolling over in the last few days. We had a couple of central bank news coming out yesterday. We had the ECB meeting yesterday. A little bit of a dovish tilt from the ECB, talking about risks to the downside on the economic outlook, and also the prospect of tiering of the deposit rate, which tends to be a little bit of a dovish lean there. But also we saw the Fed minutes last night. Also, they had a dovish lean as well, whereby the majority of the committee looking to hold rates this year. And subsequently, we've seen that dollar, which had been weakening, and just holding on to maintain that weakness in the sort of early knockings of today's session. So what we have seen is a little bit of a slight move lower actually on indices. Indices were fairly flat on the futures as the European session started, but you started to see the US futures ticking lower as we've gone on, and that has sort of translated into weakness coming through on the DAX and the FTSE. Now what we have seen overnight also is Chinese inflation data coming out overnight, which actually was fairly decent. If you actually look on the improvement on the CPI, back to 2.3%, but that was a shade underneath expectations, and perhaps that sort of has led to a little bit of a slight disappointment there. But certainly there seems to be sort of a little bit of a retracement going on these equity markets. Now there is a bit of US data today. Inflation for the PPI, producer prices index, at 1:30 UK time, expected to see little real let me just show you actually. Expected to show where is it? Sorry, it's US data is a lot today. Okay, final demand staying at 1.9%, and the core data just ticking a slight bit lower to 2.4%. Also looking at jobless claims. Now 202 last week was a record dating back to the 1960s. So that's expected to come up slightly to 211 this time out, but still very low numbers there from the US weekly jobless claims. Now we've also got four Fed speakers today. Richard Clarida, who is the Vice Fed Chair, centrist, John Williams, who's a hawk, Bullard, who's a dove, and then Michelle Bowman, who recently joined the committee back in November. All those this afternoon. So they could well have an impact on the dollar moves coming this afternoon. Now my chart today is the Australian dollar, which I believe has shown signs in recent days of turning a corner. You can see that against the US dollar, where you've started to see positive bull candles coming through in a recovery situation. A little bit of a run of higher lows coming through, but also we've now broken above a pivot line, and this pivot line is in the middle of this range play that we've seen developing basically in the past 6 or so months. This trading range of Aussie dollar, slight move through the range highs there, slight move through the range lows, but broadly speaking between 70 big figure and 73 big figure. But the middle of that is 71.50, and that has been a pivot, as you can see. And that has recently been resistance, but yesterday broke out to the upside, that pivot. Breaking out to the upside, coming with the RSI, breaking out to 2-month highs, stochastics, also MACD lines above neutral. So improvement developing, very slight improvement, but improvement developing on the momentum indicators which come with this breakout. So it suggests we're going to be pressurizing that 72.05 level of resistance that we saw as the February high, and that is the line that restricts a test of the 73 big figure level. But you can certainly see on the hourly chart there is a more positive configuration, where previously through the range we'd seen the RSI going below 30. It's now sort of forming support above 30. The MACD line's above neutral. Little uptrend forming. Basis of a pivot at 71.30. That's something to watch, because 71.30 down to 71.50 to 71.30. A little buy zone. I would take this as on the Aussie. And with that uptrend that we see in the last few days, I think we're starting to see a more positive outlook developing on the Australian dollar. Can it break out through 72 figure and move towards 73 figure would be the question now. So with that in mind, I wish you good luck in your trading. I'll speak to you later.